What's up YouTube? Welcome back to Web Edit Wednesdays, where I tell you the stories behind all the tricks from my Web Edit 3. This week we are doing the 1080 front flip on BMX. It's a pretty big one. Obviously it's won me Nitro World Games 2 years in a row. Well, it's been one of the tricks that have won me it, but it's a pretty special trick to me and there's a pretty cool story behind it. So from the beginning, probably I guess I'll start out with talking about when I first did the 720 front flip, and on scooter I actually did it on the 19th of October 2013. So that's over 4 years ago now, and it was at Parlor, and you can see it in this clip right now. So as you can see, not that big of a deal now, but back then I was absolutely over the moon. And also on that day, that was when I was learning front flip inward on BMX bike. I don't think I actually stomped it there. I actually stomped it in a later tour in Europe. However, I learned so many tricks on that day, and it was a pretty special day for me. But moving on, now it's the 720 front flip on BMX. Pretty funny story behind this one. I actually first did it at the end of January in 2014, so not that long after the 720 fronty on scooter, I did it on BMX. And pretty much, it was the end of an America tour, and it was the last show, and I'm like, please let me try this 720 fronty on BMX in BMX Big Air. Like, I believe I have this. I know I can do it. And at that point, I had only done like one trick on BMX in the show for them, and that was the front flip inward. And they shut me down. They said, no, we don't want you to hurt yourself. You need to be healthy. Like, this is the last show. Don't go all out just because it's the last show. But I couldn't help myself. I mean, Ryan Sheckler was there. I got a photo with him. And pretty much, I did all my scooter tricks, did all the BMX Big Air, but I wasn't in it, obviously. And it came down to the final train, and Andrew Ahamada gave me his bike, and I just sent it. I just sent the 720 front flip. It was in the final trains, and no one was filming. Obviously, because they didn't expect me to do it. I went last, and I hucked a 720 front flip on BMX and landed it first try in the final trains of the last show of an America tour. And I remember landing it and just freaking out. I'm like, I told you so. I told you I would land it. And I was like screaming at him, getting up him. Like, I told you I was going to land it and stuff like that. But obviously, I proved them wrong, and I landed it first try. So first ever attempt at 720 front flip on BMX, I landed it. But unfortunately, I don't have any footage. But I think it was on the Nitro Circus channel, but I can't find it anywhere. But I landed it, and the coolest thing was that Ryan Sheckler like jumped over, and he like ran up to me and was like, that was the sickest thing ever. And I was like super pumped because I was like starstruck at that point that Ryan Sheckler was cheering with me. But anyway, the first time it got released was May 24th, 2014. Obviously, Nitro Circus had the exclusive for it, and I had to wait and let them release it. And they basically portrayed it as I landed both the 720 front flip on scooter and BMX, both world first on the same night. However, obviously, I had done the scooter back in October 2013, and then the BMX one at the end of January 2014. And now they're releasing it in May, saying that I landed them both on the same night in the same show, which was the first time I had landed them both at the same time in the same show. So kind of a world first in the show, but not world first in real life. But I do have that clip, so check it out. This is the Nitro Circus clip of the scooter 720 fronty and the BMX 720 front flip.
Is a scooter rider, and he is embarrassing the world of BMX. True. Because he is about to throw a front flip with a 720. Queensland, your boy wants to show you what world.
Oh, he wants it.
Check this out. Come on, Willie. Front flip 7.
Scooter kid is amazing. Is the best BMX rider I've ever seen. Bar none, coolest stuff, hands down, everything will go. Woo!
Yes, scooter and bike, check.
Woo!
So they got a pretty cool clip from that, and I just kept doing those every show. After that, I was basically stuck into doing those because they're just like pretty much my most consistent trick. 720 fronty is one of my favorite tricks just because I'm so consistent at it, and it pretty much works every single time on both scooter and BMX. Now we're moving on to the 1080 front flip. So on scooter, I actually did that nearly a year after they released the 720 fronty. I did the first ever 1080 front flip on scooter on the 20th of May 2015. Check out the clip. Obviously, I was super ecstatic about that, but I just wanted to keep pushing. And then 2 days after that, I tried my first ever 720 front flip on a BMX bike. Obviously, you'll see in the clip, I don't lean far enough forward. However, check it out.
So make some noise! Scream!
Alright, so as you can see, didn't lean far enough forward, basically just did a cork 1440. So this is something I've been meaning to talk about. A lot of people are arguing back and forth. It's a 1080 front flip, it's a cork 1440. To be honest, if I had to come down to it, I would call it a front cork 1440, just because it's not a back cork, obviously, otherwise I would pull back off the lit and do the 1440. I actually lean forward and try 1440. But in my mind, I'm going for a 1080 front flip. I am literally going forward for a front flip and then just spinning as much as I can, and sometimes I don't go upside down, and then obviously people would argue front cork 1440, and I would agree with them. But on this next clip, you're going to see this is my second attempt at the 1080 front flip. It was, I think, maybe the last show of the America tour, which is kind of funny that I did it a year later at the same show, trying it at the same kind of deal, whatever. But I was convinced I was going to land it. Like, I went for it and I leant forward, and you're going to see that this one, I would definitely argue, is a 1080 front flip. But here it is, check it out. As you can see, so damn close at my second try at a 1080 front flip on BMX. And this was only on the 26th of May, 2015. So way over 2 years ago, I was trying this trick and nearly stomping it. I was even wearing a singlet because I was so convinced. I was like, if I wear a singlet, I'm gonna land it because I don't want to get burnt. So I just sent it. As you can see, I came down pretty hard, burnt myself, but I don't know, I nearly rolled away. I was super stoked on the clip, and I just couldn't wait to try again and get it stomped. And I definitely wanted to get this for Weber at 3. But, you know, it was a 1080 front flip. I would argue that that definitely is a 1080 front flip, not a cork 1440. However, I had to go back, try again. So now we come to the next tour. I am trying the 1080 front flip again. It is the 7th of November 2015, and basically I just felt like I was having a good day. There was a lot of other tricks I was working on, like cash roll, whip bar, double front flip 360, but this day I just wanted to set my mind on doing the 1080 front flip and getting it dialed. It's actually not too scary a trick for me to try because it's only one front flip, which kind of makes it not as scary, but obviously I can still get really hurt. This day I hucked a few of them and it just really wasn't working, but check out the attempts. Okay, I'm back. That was bad. I didn't get a pop. I didn't get the right pop. As you can see, close, but no cigar. Pretty much, I just didn't lean forward enough. That was a really hard problem because obviously I'm concentrating on trying to spin as fast as I can, but then I gotta obviously concentrate on leaning forward, but not too much so that I can't spin. So it just was a little bit confusing, but 4 days later, I worked it out. I tried again and eventually got it, but here's some of the attempts on that day, and we can just go through and see how I progressed and got closer and closer. Josh, let's do it. Yeah. Alright. Okay.
Oh! Oh my God!
As you can see from those first 3 attempts, I'm just not leaning forward enough, but I'm slowly progressing more and more forward. I think I'm just scared to throw it so hard forward because it really takes away from the spin at the start. So you either are gonna be like hucking forward really hard at the start and then spinning till the very end, or you're gonna spin really fast at the start and then tuck out. And I was really into spinning really fast and then tucking out so I had more time to see the landing, because I usually get really hurt when I think I'm landing and then I don't. But let's keep going. So 5 attempts in and I'm super close. As you see by that last clip, I basically land and then just get like a little bit tangled up and fall over, and pick myself up, went straight back up there, and you're gonna see the next one was the first time I ever stomped the 1080 front flip on BMX bike, and then I run straight into the wall. It's so funny. All right.
Yeah, Willie!
Whatever.
Yeah, bugger. So proud of you. That's what's up, Willie!
Woo! I know. There's no way I was letting myself crash that. I like pretty much rode it as far as I could, and then I'm like, I need to get off before I hit this wall. You can see in the long lens, like I spin, I land fully crouched. There's like nothing I can do, but like I couldn't turn because otherwise I would fall. So I just rode it straight, made sure I got through the transition, rode straight, bailed off to the left, and just smashed into the wall. But it was worth it. And how was that little head tap? Like, Schmitty goes to give me a high five. I'm not like concentrating on him and he just taps me on the head. But I was super stoked on that clip. As you can see, I didn't really care that I ran into the wall, but I was super stoked, and I hope yous were too on the footage. And my favorite footage was probably the fisheye. I mean, it's so hard to argue. Like when you look at the long lens, it looks like I don't even go upside down really, but then you see the fisheye and it looks like I go upside down. So you can pretty much argue it either way, I think. It's either a 1440 cork or a 1080 front flip. Doesn't really mind. I think they're basically as hard as each other. So whatever you want to call it, let me know. Let me know in the comments what you think it is. Do you think it's a front cork 1440 or a 1080 front flip? Because I want to end this argument right now, and then once I figure it out, I'm just going to call it that from now on. So unlike most of my other tricks in Web Edit 3, I have done this 1080 front flip multiple times. Obviously, after the first time landing it, I started doing it in the show. It was like the, what was it? It was like a Cap City Australia show, and it was like super huge. Like I would do a 1080 front flip and a triple front flip in one show. So that was pretty hectic, and I landed maybe 4 or 5 after that on that tour. And then obviously I headed to the Nitro World Games, where it won me a gold medal at the first ever Nitro World Games. And then obviously I went back the next year and I did the 1080 front flip again as like a safety trick, and stomped it again. And then there's actually a lot of other people that have started doing it, which is super cool. Like Brandon Lupos can also 1080 front flip now. Jacob Bailey, he's one of the other guys that does it really well. So I'm definitely looking for the 1440 front flip or the cork 1800. Who thinks I could do it? Let me know in the comments as well. Who thinks I should go out there and do a cork 1800 on a BMX bike? I mean, I did it on a scooter, so why not do it on a BMX bike? But that is going to be it for this week's Web Edit Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you smack that thumbs up button if you did, and if you enjoy these Web Edit Wednesdays, because I love doing them as well. Next week, what is it? Let's think. I'm thinking it's the double front flip 360 on BMX, but I need to clarify. Yep, so it is the double front flip 360 on BMX next week, and you may be surprised to know that this is probably one of the hardest tricks I've ever done on BMX. I'll get more into it next week because it is a big story and it took me a long time to do, and it was actually one of my first world firsts on scooter. So pretty important week next week. Stay tuned till then. Plenty of videos coming throughout the week. Hope you enjoy. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.